Jordan Bernt Peterson, born June 12, 1962, is a Canadian clinical psychologist and a professor of psychology at the University of Toronto. He began to receive widespread attention in the late 2010s for his views on cultural and political issues. Born and raised in Alberta, Peterson obtained bachelor's degrees in political science and psychology from the University of Alberta and a PhD in clinical psychology from McGill University. After teaching and research at Harvard University, he returned to Canada in 1998 to join the Faculty of Psychology at the University of Toronto. In 1999, he published his first book, Maps of Meaning: The Architecture of Belief, which became the basis for many of his subsequent lectures. The book combined information from psychology, mythology, religion, literature, philosophy, and neuroscience to analyze systems of belief and meaning. In 2016, Peterson released a series of YouTube videos criticizing the Act to amend the Canadian Human Rights Act and the Criminal Code, Bill C-16, passed by the Parliament of Canada to introduce gender identity and expression as a prohibited grounds of discrimination. He argued that the bill would make the use of certain gender pronouns into compelled speech, and related this argument to a general critique of political correctness and identity politics. He subsequently received significant media coverage, attracting both support and criticism. Peterson's lectures and debates, propagated also through podcasts and YouTube, gradually gathered millions of views. He put his clinical practice and teaching duties on hold by 2018, when he published his second book, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos. Promoted with a world tour, it became a bestseller in several countries. Peterson was born on June 12, 1962, in Edmonton, Alberta, and grew up in Fairview, a small town in the northwest of the province. He was the eldest of 3 children born to Walter and Beverly Peterson. Beverly was a librarian at the Fairview campus of Grand Prairie Regional College, and Walter was a school teacher. His middle name is Bernt/B. R. Nt/Bear. Nt. 6, after his Norwegian great-grandfather. 7. When Peterson was 13, he was introduced to the writings of George Orwell, Aldous Huxley, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and Ayn Rand by his school librarian Sandy Notley, mother of Rachel Notley, leader of the Alberta New Democratic Party and 17th Premier of Alberta. 8. He worked for the New Democratic Party, NDP, throughout his teenage years, but grew disenchanted with the party, eventually leaving them at age 18. 9. He saw his experience of disillusionment resonating with Orwell's diagnosis, in The Road to Wigan Pier, of the intellectual, tweed-wearing middle-class socialist who didn't like the poor, they just hated the rich. 410. After graduating from Fairview High School in 1979, Peterson entered the Grand Prairie Regional College to study political science and English literature. 11. He later transferred to the University of Alberta, where he completed his BA in political science in 1982. 9. Afterwards, he took a year off to visit Europe, where he began studying the psychological origins of the Cold War, 20th-century European totalitarianism, 1112, and the works of Carl Jung, Friedrich Nietzsche, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, 4, and Fyodor Dostoevsky. 12. He then returned to the University of Alberta and received a BA in psychology in 1984. 13. In 1985, he moved to Montreal to attend McGill University. He earned his PhD in clinical psychology under the supervision of Robert O. Pill in 1991, and remained as a postdoctoral fellow at McGill's Douglas Hospital until June 1993, working with Pill and Maurice Donier. 1114. From July 1993 to June 1998, 1. Peterson lived in Arlington, Massachusetts, while teaching and conducting research at Harvard University as an assistant professor in the psychology department. During his time at Harvard, he studied aggression arising from drug and alcohol abuse and supervised a number of unconventional thesis proposals. 9. 2 former PhD students, Shelley Carson, a psychologist and teacher from Harvard, and author Greg Hurwitz, recalled that Peterson's lectures were already highly admired by the students. 15. He returned to Canada in July 1998 and eventually became a full professor at the University of Toronto. 113-16. Peterson's areas of study and research are in the fields of psychopharmacology, abnormal, neuro, clinical, personality, social, industrial and organizational, 1, religious, ideological, 11, political, and creativity psychology. 17. Peterson has authored or co-authored more than 100 academic papers. 18, and has been cited almost 8,000 times as of mid-2017. 1920. For most of his career, Peterson maintained a clinical practice, seeing about 20 people a week. He has been active on social media, and in September 2016 he released a series of videos in which he criticized Bill C-16. 8/21/22, as a result of new projects, he decided to put the clinical practice on hold in 2017-23, and temporarily stopped teaching as of 2018. 5/24. Regarding the topic of religion and God, Bret Weinstein moderated a debate between Peterson and Sam Harris at the Orpheum Theatre in Vancouver in June 2018. In July, the two debated the subject again, this time moderated by Douglas Murray, at the 3 Arena in Dublin and the O2 Arena in London. 25/26. In April 2019, Peterson debated Slavoj Zizek at the Sony Center in Toronto over happiness under capitalism versus Marxism. 27/28.